Beloved soul, there is a silent story written within you. A story older than your name, older than your body, older even than your present mind. You are not a stranger to yourself. You are a continuation. Life does not begin at birth, nor does it end at death. It flows like an eternal river, carrying impressions from one shore of existence to another. Many wonder, who was I before? But a wiser question is, what have I carried forward? For your past life is not hidden in some distant realm. It is alive within your thoughts, your habits, your desires, and your struggles. Your present tendencies are not slouchy or accidental. They are subtle echoes, gentle yet persistent reminders of actions, thoughts, and intentions carried over from another span of existence. What you feel naturally inclined toward today did not arise in isolation. It has been shaped, refined, and impressed upon your inner being through repeated expression across time. Just as a river carves its path through land, not in a single moment, but through continuous flow, so too your character has been molded by the steady current of past actions. Within you exists a hidden continuity. Though your conscious mind may not recall the scenes of a previous life, your deeper consciousness retains the essence of every experience. These impressions, often called tendencies, quietly influence your likes and dislikes, your reactions, your strengths, and even your struggles. They emerge without effort, guiding your choices before logic has time to intervene. When you feel naturally drawn to kindness, discipline, patience, or creativity, it is because these qualities were practiced and strengthened before. They have become part of your inner nature. In the same way, tendencies that create difficulty, such as anger, fear, jealousy, or restlessness, are not punishments imposed upon you. They are unresolved patterns seeking awareness. They return not to burden you, but to give you another opportunity to transform them. What was repeated before seeks either continuation or correction. Life, in its quiet wisdom, brings forward these tendencies so that growth may continue from where it once paused. You may notice that some actions feel effortless, almost as if they require no learning. A person may sit in silence and feel peace without struggle, while another may find it difficult to calm the mind even for a moment. This difference does not arise randomly, it reflects the depths of familiarity the soul has developed with certain states of being. Repetition has turned effort into ease. What was once practiced consciously has now become instinctive. There is also a mysterious sense of recognition in certain behaviors. You may respond to situations in ways that feel deeply familiar, even when encountering them for the first time in this life. This familiarity is not coincidence, it is continuity. The mind recognizes patterns it has known before, even if it cannot recall their origin. These responses are like echoes bouncing through the chambers of your inner world, carrying the vibration of past experiences into the present moment. Your moral inclinations also arise from this hidden power. When you feel a natural pull toward truth, compassion, or self control, it indicates that these virtues were valued and practiced previously. They have left an imprint strong enough to guide you even now. Conversely, when you struggle against impulses that lead away from harmony, it reveals areas where awareness was incomplete. These impulses are not your identity, they are simply remnants of unfinished understanding. Even your ambitions and desires carry the fragrance of past tendencies. What you seek passionately often reflects what you have sought before. Desire itself is a continuation. It moves from one lifetime to another, seeking fulfillment or resolution. This is why some longings feel so intense, as if they cannot be ignored. They are not new, they are ongoing. There is a quiet law at work within all of this, a law of continuity and refinement. Every action leaves an impression, and every impression seeks expression. What you repeatedly do becomes what you naturally are inclined to do. Over time, tendencies solidify into traits, and traits shape destiny. This process does not end with the body, it continues beyond, carrying forward the essence of your lived experience. Yet, within this continuity lies great freedom. To observe your tendencies is to begin transforming them. Awareness creates a space between impulse and action. In that space, you are no longer bound to repeat the past unconsciously. You gain the power to choose differently, to strengthen what uplifts you, and to dissolve what limits you. Each conscious choice begins to reshape the pattern, gradually altering the direction of your inner current. Your present tendencies, therefore, are not merely habits, they are messages. They reveal where you have been and hint at where you are going. By understanding them, you come closer to understanding yourself, not just as a personality formed in this lifetime, but as a soul evolving through many experiences, carrying forward the wisdom, the struggles, and the possibilities of a much longer journey. Deep, unexplained fears and attractions often arise in the human experience without any visible cause in one's present life. A person may feel an intense fear of water, despite never having faced a traumatic incident, or a powerful attraction toward a place they have never visited before. These inner movements seem mysterious because the conscious mind seeks logical explanation rooted only in present circumstances. Yet beneath this or face of awareness lies a deeper storehouse of impressions, where experiences are not lost but quietly preserved as subtle memory. These fears and attractions are not random disturbances of the mind, they are the silent language of continuity. What the conscious mind forgets, the deeper consciousness retains. Every strong emotional experience leaves an imprint, and when such experiences are not fully resolved, they do not simply disappear. Instead, they remain as latent tendencies waiting for conditions through which they can be felt again. In a new life, when the outer situation aligns even slightly with those past impressions, the feeling resurfaces, often without any recognizable origin. Fear, in this sense, is not merely a reaction to present danger, it can be the echo of a past moment where awareness was overwhelmed, where understanding was incomplete, or where the experience left a deep mark on the inner being. Because the memory is not held as a clear image, it does not appear as a story the mind can recall. Instead, it manifests as a feeling, immediate, intense, and often confusing. The person experiencing it may try to reason with it, to dismiss it, or to control it, but its roots lie beyond the reach of simple logic. Attractions follow a similar path, though they often feel more pleasant and inviting. You may find yourself deeply drawn to certain environments, cultures, ideas, or individuals without knowing why. This attraction carries a sense of familiarity, as though something within you recognizes what the mind has never learned. It is not merely curiosity, it is a subtle remembrance. The soul is responding to vibrations it has known before, to experiences that once brought harmony, growth, or deep involvement. These patterns of fear and attraction influence choices in powerful ways. Without conscious awareness, a person may avoid opportunities because of an unexplainable fear or pursue paths that feel irresistibly right. In both cases, the past is gently guiding the present. This guidance is not meant to limit freedom, but to continue a process that has already begun. Where there was fear, there is an opportunity now for courage and understanding. Where there was attraction, there's a chance to deepen, refine, or complete that connection. These feelings can appear contradictory. A person may feel both drawn to and afraid of the same thing. This inner conflict reveals a more complex imprint, one where the past experience held both pleasure and pain, growth and struggle. The soul remembers both aspects and they surface together, creating a push and pull within the individual. Such experiences are particularly significant as they point to areas where deeper awareness and transformation are possible. The intensity of these fears and attractions often does not match the present situation, which is why they feel so puzzling. A minor trigger may evoke a strong emotional response, far greater than what the moment seems to justify. This disproportion is a sign that the feeling is not entirely rooted in the present. It is being amplified by something carried forward, something that seeks recognition and understanding rather than suppression. There is also a subtle intelligence within these patterns. They are not random burdens placed upon the individual, they are part of an ongoing movement toward balance. Fear invites awareness and courage, urging the individual to face what was once avoided. Attraction invites engagement and refinement, encouraging the individual to explore what once held meaning or value. In both cases, the experience offers a doorway into deeper self knowledge. As one becomes more aware of these inner movements, a shift begins to take place. Instead of reacting automatically, one starts to observe. The fear is still felt, the attraction still present, but there is a growing understanding that they are not absolute truths. They are impressions, echoes, tendencies, real in their influence, yet not fixed in their nature. This awareness creates space, and within that space, transformation becomes possible. In this way, deep, unexplained fears and attractions are not obstacles to be eliminated, but signals to be understood. They reveal layers of the self that extend beyond the present moment, pointing toward a continuity that the mind alone cannot fully grasp. By paying attention to them with patience and clarity, one begins to uncover the hidden threads that connect past experiences with present tendencies, allowing a deeper harmony to gradually emerge within. Natural talents often appear as gifts that require little effort to express, as though they were already fully formed within the individual. A person may display remarkable skill in music, art, communication, leadership, or deep understanding without extensive training. And this can seem mysterious when viewed only through the lens of a single lifetime. Yet such abilities are not sudden creations, they are the result of repeated cultivation, refinement, and dedication carried across the continuity of existence. Within every individual lies a deeper layer of accumulated experience where actions performed with attention and intention leave lasting impressions. When a particular skill or virtue is practiced consistently over time, it becomes ingrained in the inner nature. What begins as effort gradually transforms into ease. What once required conscious discipline becomes spontaneous expression. In a later life, this refinement emerges as a natural talent, giving the impression of an inborn gift rather than a developed capacity. This is why certain abilities seem to unfold effortlessly in some individuals. A musician may intuitively understand rhythm and melody without formal instruction. A speaker may articulate thoughts with clarity and impact from a young age. A person may exhibit compassion, patience, or wisdom beyond their years. These qualities are not accidents, they are the continuation of inner work that has already been done. The soul carries forward not the external circumstances of past experiences, but the essence of what was learned and practiced within them. Natural talents are not limited to artistic or intellectual abilities, they also include moral and emotional strengths. A person who naturally responds with kindness, who remains calm in difficulty, or who demonstrates integrity without struggle is expressing virtues that have been cultivated deeply. These qualities reflect repeated choices made in alignment with higher understanding. Over time, such choices shape the inner being, creating a stable foundation from which these virtues can arise naturally. There is a sense of familiarity that accompanies natural talent. When engaging in such an activity, the individual may feel as though they are returning to something new rather than discovering something new. This feeling is subtle but significant. It suggests that the ability is not being built from the beginning but rather reawakened. The mind may not recall the process through which the skill was developed, but the inner consciousness recognizes the pattern and resumes it with ease. At the same time, natural talent carries with it a certain responsibility. Because it arises so effortlessly, it can be taken for granted or left undeveloped. What has been gained through long cultivation can still be neglected in the present. Talent, therefore, is not an end point but a continuation. It offers an opportunity to go further, to refine the ability to an even higher level, or to use it in a way that contributes positively to life. The presence of talent indicates potential, but its direction depends on present awareness and choice. There are also instances where a person may feel drawn toward a particular field or activity without yet possessing the skill to express it fully. This attraction can indicate a partially developed tendency, one that was begun but not completed. With effort and dedication, such inclination can quickly grow as the foundation already exists beneath the surface. What appears as rapid progress is often the reactivation of previously cultivated ability. Differences in natural talent among individuals can sometimes lead to comparison or misunderstanding. One may wonder why something comes easily to another while requiring great effort for oneself. When viewed through a broader perspective, these differences reflect varying stages of development rather than inherent inequality. Each individual carries a unique set of cultivated tendencies shaped by their own journey. What is effortless for one may be new for another, and what is difficult now may become natural through continued practice. Natural talent also reveals a continuity of effort. It demonstrates that no sincere work is ever lost. Every attempt to learn, to grow, to act with awareness leaves a lasting imprint. Even when progress seems slow or unnoticed, it is being recorded within the deeper layers of the self. Over time, these accumulated efforts form a reservoir of ability that can be drawn upon again. In observing natural talents, one begins to see beyond the surface of immediate experience. These abilities are not isolated phenomena, but expressions of a longer process of refinement. They show that growth is continuous, that what is developed with care becomes part of one's nature, and that the qualities expressed in the present are deeply connected to what has been cultivated before. Vipaya. Thing life patterns often appear as familiar cycles that unfold again and again, sometimes in slightly different forms, yet carrying the same emotional tone and outcome. A person may find themselves encountering similar types of relationships, facing recurring challenges in work or personal growth, or experiencing the same inner conflicts despite changes in external circumstances. These repetitions are not random coincidences, nor are they simply the result of present choices alone. They reflect deeper patterns that have not yet been fully understood or resolved. Within the continuity of experience, every action, thought, and intention leaves an imprint. When an experience is met with clarity, awareness, and completion, its imprint dissolves naturally. But when it is met with confusion, avoidance, or incomplete understanding, it leaves behind a residue. This residue does not remain inactive. It carries a certain momentum, seeking conditions through which it can express itself again. In this way, life brings forward similar situations not to repeat the past unnecessarily, but to provide another opportunity for awareness and transformation. These repeating patterns often operate beneath conscious awareness. A person may feel as though they are making new choices, yet find themselves arriving at the same result. The outer details may differ, but the underlying dynamics remain unchanged. For example, someone may repeatedly form connections that lead to disappointment or continuously face obstacles when trying to assert themselves. These patterns suggest that there is an inner tendency shaping the experience, something that has not yet been seen clearly. The repetition itself is significant. It indicates that the lesson within the experience has not been fully integrated. Life does not repeat what has been truly understood. Once awareness arises and the response changes, the pattern loses its foundation and naturally dissolves. Until that point, however, it continues to reappear, each time offering another chance to respond differently. There is often a sense of familiarity in these patterns, even when they are challenging or uncomfortable. This familiarity can create a subtle pull, drawing the individual back into similar situations. It may feel as though one is caught in a cycle, unable to break free despite effort. This is because the pattern is not only external, it is supported by internal tendencies, habits of thought, emotional reactions, and deeply held beliefs that reinforce the cycle. In some cases, the individual may attempt to change the outer circumstances in order to escape the pattern. They may change environments, relationships, or goals, hoping that a new setting will bring a different result. While such changes can offer temporary relief, they do not address the root of the pattern. As long as the inner tendency remains unchanged, the pattern will eventually reemerge, perhaps in a new form, but with the same underlying structure. Repeating patterns can also carry a sense of frustration or confusion. A person may ask why the same difficulties continue to arise, especially when there is a genuine desire for change. This questioning itself is part of the process. It signals that awareness is beginning to turn inward, seeking not just a change in circumstances, but an understanding of the deeper cause. The pattern, in this sense, acts as a mirror reflecting aspects of the self that have not yet been fully recognized. There is also a certain precision in how these patterns unfold. They are not vague or random, they are specific and consistent. The same triggers, the same reactions, and the same outcomes tend to appear in recognizable ways. This consistency is what allows them to be observed. By paying attention to these recurring elements, one can begin to see the structure of the pattern and the role one plays within it. As awareness deepens, a shift begins to occur. Instead of reacting automatically, the individual starts to notice the pattern as it arises. There is a moment of recognition, a realization that this situation has been experienced before, that the same response is about to unfold. In that moment, there is an opportunity to pause, to see the pattern clearly rather than becoming absorbed in it. This pause creates space for a different response, one that is not driven by the old tendency. Changing the response, even in a small way, begins to alter the pattern. The cycle is no longer completed in the same way, and this disruption weakens its hold. Over time, as awareness continues to grow and responses become more aligned with clarity and understanding, the pattern gradually loses its momentum. What once felt inevitable begins to dissolve, not through force, but through insight. Repeating life patterns, therefore, are not merely obstacles to be endured, they are expressions of unfinished processes, inviting attention and understanding. They reveal where awareness has yet to fully awaken, and they provide the conditions necessary for that awakening to take place. By observing them closely, without resistance or denial, one begins to uncover the deeper movements that shape experience, allowing a more conscious and intentional way of living to emerge. Inner conscience and intuition arise quietly within, often without the need for deliberate thought or external guidance. They do not speak in loud or forceful ways, yet their presence is unmistakable. There are moments when you simply know what is right or wrong, even before reasoning begins. There are times when a subtle feeling guides you toward or away from a decision without presenting clear evidence. This inner knowing does an auto originate from the surface level of the mind. It emerges from a deeper layer of awareness that carries the essence of accumulated experience. Conscience is not merely a product of social conditioning or learned behavior, although these may influence its expression. At its core, it reflects an inner sensitivity to harmony and imbalance, truth and distortion. When you act in alignment with clarity, there is a sense of ease and quiet affirmation within. When you move against that inner clarity, there is often a subtle discomfort, a disturbance that cannot always be explained logically. This response arises because something within you recognizes the direction of your action based on a depth of understanding that has been formed over time. Intuition functions in a similar way, though it often appears as guidance rather than evaluation. It points rather than judges. It offers a sense of direction without explaining the path in detail. You may feel drawn to a particular choice or experience a quiet hesitation about another, even when both seem reasonable from a rational perspective. This guidance does not rely on analysis, it arises spontaneously as though it is remembering something the conscious mind has yet to consider. Both conscience and intuition operate beyond the limitations of immediate perception. The conscious mind is shaped by current knowledge, recent experiences, and visible information. It analyzes, compares, and concludes based on what it can observe. But the deeper layers of awareness hold impressions that extend far beyond the present moment. They contain the distilled essence of countless experiences, what has led to harmony, what has led to conflict, what has brought clarity, and what has created confusion. From this reservoir, subtle guidance emerges. This is why inner guidance often feels certain even when it cannot be explained. The mind may question it, asking for reasons or evidence, but the feeling remains steady. It does not fluctuate with changing opinions or external influences. It carries a quiet consistency because it is rooted in accumulated understanding rather than immediate reaction. When you listen to it, there is often a sense of alignment, as though your actions are flowing in harmony with something deeper than thought. At times, however, this inner voice can be difficult to hear. The activity of the mind, the influence of external expectations, and the pull of strong emotions can overshadow it. When the mind is restless or heavily engaged in conflicting desire, the subtle nature of intuition and conscience becomes less noticeable. It is not that they disappear, rather, they are covered by layers of noise. In such moments, decisions may be driven more by habit, fear, or impulse than by deeper understanding. There is also a distinction between impulse and intuition that becomes clearer with observation. Impulse is often urgent, emotional, and reactive. It pushes for immediate action and is closely tied to desire or aversion. Intuition, in contrast, is calm and steady. It does not rush or pressure, it simply indicates, allowing space for awareness to respond. Learning to recognize this difference is part of developing sensitivity to inner guidance. Conscience, too, can be misunderstood when it is mixed with learned judgments or external expectations. Sometimes, what feels like an inner voice may actually be a reflection of conditioning, ideas absorbed from others rather than arising from direct understanding. True conscience, however, has a different quality. It is not harsh or condemning. It is clear and balanced. It does not create unnecessary guilt, but it does not ignore imbalance either. It points towards alignment without force. As attention becomes more refined, these inner signals begin to stand out more clearly. You start to notice the subtle shift within when a thought, word, or action aligns with deeper understanding. You also become aware of the disturbance that arises when something is out of alignment. These observations do not require analysis. They are felt directly. Over time, this sensitivity grows, allowing inner guidance to play a more active role in daily life. This process reveals that conscience and intuition are not separate from you, nor are they external forces guiding you from outside. They are expressions of a deeper continuity within, carrying forward the essence of what has been learned and experienced. They reflect a form of memory that does not rely on images or stories, but on understanding itself. Through them, the past is not recalled as narrative, but expressed as insight, guiding present awareness in subtle yet profound ways. Closing message. Do not look at these signs with fear or regret. Your past is not your prison. It is your preparation. Every sin can be purified. Every virtue can be expanded. What you are is less important than what you choose to become now. You are not bound by your past life. You are guided by it. Awaken your awareness, refine your actions, and walk consciously. For the life you are living today is shaping the destiny you will awaken to tomorrow.